Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. A couple of things before we get started that you might want to have to help. It's fun to be able to use some tools and personalize those tools. So look around your house. There can be cushions and maybe a folded blanket, like the folded blanket from my couch. You might have the same. Or a folded beach towel can be handy for padding or sitting up on something. I have 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have those, 2 thick books are a great substitute. And although I'm standing on a yoga mat, I also happen to be standing on the rug in my living room. So find an area in your house that maybe is carpeted or has a solid rug, just something that's not too hard or slick or that's going to slip out from underneath you. We'll get started standing with our feet hip distance and parallel. And then take a moment, take your arms in front of you and make some big circles. So palms face each other and then big circles away from one another, just to get us really aware of where our shoulder joint is, and then settle those arms along your side. But let that be a turnout of your palms from your shoulder, not just merely from your wrist. We've got a little soft bend in our knees. This is called mountain pose. You might say it's the pose that we do most often. And we are standing, obviously, which means that we're using a little bit of hip stability. And we'll focus on some stability and flexibility in our hips and in our hamstrings today. So let's stand on our left leg. Bring our hands on our hips, although this could be a great opportunity to go to the wall and place your hand on a wall or on the arm of your sofa, so that now when we stand on our left leg and take our right leg out in front of us, which gives us a little hamstring stretch and a little balancing challenge, we can turn our leg out from our hip. So turn your right leg out so those toes face the side of the room, but feel that that's happening in your hip joint, like a moment ago we found in our shoulder joint. And then turn those toes to face the sky. Let's do that a couple more times. So turn that right leg out, almost like you're dancing a jig, and then turn those toes to the sky. One more time, turn those toes out. Appreciate that stretch on your right hamstring because it's about to go away. Bend your knee and plant the ball of your right foot right inside the arch of your left foot. Keep that left hip hugging in, so that hip stability that we talked about is happening. We'll keep the design of dancing a jig even though we now have a bent knee, and it can stay here or travel to your shin, or it might even be that you put your right foot into your left inner thigh. Especially my friends with their foot in the thigh, don't let that persuade your left hip out to the side. Let's grow our branches, or maybe just one branch, so right arm can extend. Maybe left arm extends. We V-shape our arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky, like our very wide branches. We need deep roots for our wide branches. Bring your hand or both hands to your hips. Turn your right knee forward and step down. And we'll do that same little jig, as it were, on the other side. So stand on your right leg. Get yourself situated near the wall or anything that's helpful. Let your tree trunk feel solid, and your left leg goes out in front of you. We rotate from that left hip, toes to the side, and then toes to the sky. Again, turn that left leg out, and then turn it to the sky. And we've got one more time like that. We'll appreciate a little lingering moment into our hamstring stretch, and then we will end the hamstring stretch and place the ball of our left foot right inside the arch of our right foot. This is a balancing challenge, so this might be appropriate, or left foot into your right shin area, or left foot into your right inner thigh. All of us will hug our tree trunk solid. And then either one or both branches go wide and then V-shape to the sky. And we pause a moment or two. There is hip mobility in our left hip and hip stability happening in our right hip. How about that? Hand or hands on your hips. Turn that left knee forward and step down. We're once again hip distance and parallel. Let's adjust our stance so that we're standing to face that short front edge of our mat. If you don't have a mat, you'll use your imagination. And then let's once again just take one circle to bring our arms along our sides and our palms facing out. And that's an uplift. That inspires us to stand tall through it all. We'll link our breath and some movement and build out a sun salutation. So inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. And then just exhale, float your arms along your sides. Adding on. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Bring your hands to your thighs, and let's hang out here for a moment. Press into your thighs and grow your spine as long as you can. And then as you once again hinge, and you might move your legs towards straight, you'll feel a hit of stretch from your hamstrings. You can slide your hands down, but the objective is not to get your hands low to the ground. It's to get that feedback of a bit of stretch in the backs of your legs and to keep your spine as long as we possibly can. And then we'll inhale, rise. Reach, thumbs to the sky, V. And we pause with our arms along our sides and our palms facing out. We'll keep adding. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, or maybe shins or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, and as you do, there's still that little hit of stretch in your hamstrings. And now you may need to bend your knees. So your palms go flat on your mat, and we step back to down dog. The first one we'll do as wide as our mat with our feet. Press into your hands until you feel your spine and all four sides of your waist grow long. Now we're on the balls of our feet with a bend to our knees. You are permitted to start to straighten your legs out. However, if that rounds your spine, we want to prioritize our spine. And so a little bit of a drop of your heels, and then you'll get that feedback in your hamstrings, the tight bits in your hamstrings and in your calves. And there's a happy medium. There's a sweet spot. From here, walk your feet forward to your hands, hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale. And then we inhale, rise, reach. Thumbs to the sky, a V. And we stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. We'll keep adding on. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, and then hands to your thighs, or shins, or ankles. Glide your hands up, enjoy that hit of a hamstring stretch, and then bend your knees so your palms can get flat. When we step to down dog, if it's okay, hip distance, you can move in that direction or as wide as you need. Oomph into your arms, and now shift to a plank position. Shoulders over wrists, and we press into our hands. Right now, perhaps your knees are off your mat, and you can feel that there's a hamstring stretch happening here as well. And then bring your knees down, not quite as far back as hands and knees, and push the ground away as we lower all the way down onto our belly. Once we're there, uncurl your toes and bring your forearms parallel to the long side edges of your mat. Press into the tops of your feet until your kneecaps lift. Traction your elbows towards you so that instead of resorting to too much throw of your chin, it's actually an imprint of your shoulder blades that's creating a little smile to your collarbones. Lower down, place your hands next to your ribs, and instead of floppy elbows out to the side, let them be a little snug, just brushing up against your ribs. And then traction your hands, activate your legs, press into the tops of your feet. Let your chin stay parallel to the ground, and it's dolphin. If you preferred the first one, Sphinx, you can always do that one. Lower down, curl your toes under. In one chunk, come to all fours. And then from all fours, find that hook in your tailbone and bring yourself into down dog. Remember, high on your tiptoes and a bend to your knees. And then you can experiment with your heels getting a little heavier to the ground, your legs getting a little bit straighter, maybe. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We are hip distance and parallel. And then slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale. We inhale, rise, reach. Thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we'll stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. Let's flow. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and then hands to your thighs, shins, or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, bend your knees, palms go flat. We step back to downward facing dog. Come to plank position, shoulders over your wrists, plant your knees down carefully and push the ground away as you lower all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes, either cobra pose or sphinx pose. Lower it down, curl your toes under, come through all fours. And then we lift our hips up and back and we make it our downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Arrive at the front edge of your mat, hip distance parallel. Glide your hands up. Inhale. Slide your hands down. Exhale. Inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then we stand with our arms along our sides, palms facing out. We want a little housekeeping help as we now relocate the front of our edge to the front of our mat to one of the long edges. And we will locate our blocks on just off the other side, the other long edge. So that now that I'm facing what I've designated as my front edge of my mat, I have props within reach but not in my way. Take your arms wide out to the side and then step your legs about the distance where you've got your ankles underneath your wrists. So thumbs are to the sky, arms are wide. Think back in time to not so long ago when we danced a jig together, and turn your right leg out as if you were doing that jig again, even though you're standing on that leg now. And sneak your left heel back at a 45-degree angle. We'll bend our right knee like an experiment, and my knee is quite a bit further forward than my ankle, so I need more space. You might be discovering the same in your own posture. Now, as we bend this right knee, and we get that nice vertical line from our right knee to our right ankle, we're hugging this right hip underneath us in something called external rotation, which is in fact what we did in our tree pose and in our jig. We have a few moments just like this, nice wide stance, wide arms, breath steady. And then we'll straighten our front leg and lower our arms, turn all of our toes to face the long edge of our mat, and then keep this stance. Turn your left leg out. So your left foot is now facing the short edge. It's like we're dancing our jig together. Cheat your right heel back, bend your front knee, and now it is a vertical line from your left knee to your left ankle. Arms are wide. Our left hip is hugging underneath like we're dancing our jig and doing our tree pose. And we'll take a few moments just to steep for a moment where we are. Let's straighten that front leg. Lower our arms, turn all toes to face the long edge of our mat. And one more time, as if dancing our jig, turn your right leg out. Sneak your left heel back at about a 45-degree angle. And then bend your front knee, and voila, we are once again in our Warrior Two. We'll take our right forearm across our thigh and our left arm up to the sky. And when we do that, a few things to be careful of. We're not folding it forward and swinging our right hip out. We're still dancing our jig. We hug that underneath us. We'll press this left thigh bone into the hamstring so this back leg stays straight. And instead of collapsing into our right shoulder, give a little karate chop oomph into that right forearm. Your left arm is reaching up to the sky. We are making space between our shoulders and our ears. 3 moments here. Now, we bring ourselves to Warrior Two upright and then straighten our front leg. We're not going to bend at our waist. We're going to hip hinge at our hip. So let your left hip rise up. So get that action of your pelvis lifting. And then reach way out with your right hand and find your book or block on the outside of your right foot, and left arm will reach to the sky. Spin your inner upper arms away from each other. So once again, we find that wingspan and spaciousness between our shoulders and our ears. Although our front leg is straight, we're pressing our right big toe mound into our mat, and there's a little hum almost of muscles working. Plus, there is a hamstring stretch. And hip rotation, just like our jig. Let's soak in that for a few moments together. To come out of it, we will revisit our warrior two. So take a look down, bend your front knee, move your prop out of the way, upright to warrior two, and then straighten your front leg. Turn all toes to face that long edge. Dance your jig, turning your left foot, your left leg out, and then sneak your right heel back at 45 degrees, arms wide. We bend our front knee, and we are in our warrior two. We still have the action of dancing the jig, and we'll take our left forearm across our left thigh, and we're not collapsed into that. There's a karate chop. There is a jig still occurring in our left hip hugging underneath us. Our right thigh bone presses back into its hamstring, and we settle into side angle pose. That's the name of this one, for a few moments together. We'll upright our torso into warrior two and then straighten that front leg. Remember, not a side bend, a hinge. So let your right hip lift up. Hinge at that left hip, reach out, find your book or your block on the outside of that left foot. And then we'll design an intelligent straight leg, which just means press that left big toe mound, invite your muscles to the hamstring stretch party, the hamstring and jig dancing party, and then we'll turn our inner upper arms away from each other and increase our wingspan for a couple of moments here in triangle pose. To come out, take a look down, bend that front knee, move your prop out of the way, upright your torso, and then we straighten that front leg, turn all of our toes to face the long edge of our mat. Bring our hands to our hips. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, we take a fold. Hands come to your mat or even to your blocks. This as well, we're not rounding in. We're really interested in that stretch in our hamstrings. We are also probably feeling a little bit in the inseams of our legs. So there's all kinds of sensations that we get to breathe a little calm into. The crown of your head can extend a bit towards the ground. And then just for fun, walk your fingertips out. Inhale, lift your heart. So your chest is parallel to the ground. I bet you're getting almost as much hamstring stretch here as when you thought you needed to get your head close to the ground. Just a note, because sometimes we think we need to get our head close to the ground to get something out of it. Let's firm our belly and pause a moment with our hands on our hips. That's still a hamstring stretch, but now it's a little bit more loaded. It's a little bit more of an eccentric stretch or strength. Firm your belly, come all the way upright, heel toe, and we will make our way to the front edge of our mat, but let's do the housekeeping first that goes along with that. So take your two blocks and bring them towards the front edge of your mat. And actually, let's do this. Let's take our blocks in front of our mat so that they are ready and available for this next assignment. Place your hands on your hips, stand on your right leg, and then turn your body into a letter T. So we'll seesaw into a letter T, a warrior three. At which point you might be really happy to see those blocks there, and you bring your hands onto your blocks. We'll come upright, extend that left leg out in front of us. There's a hamstring stretch here too, and then bend your left knee and cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Bend your right knee. If the balance is there to keep your hands on your hips, we're not here long, you could do that, but you can also bring your hands to your blocks for balance and maybe to deepen the stretch a little bit. If you did use your blocks, perhaps you can bring your hands to your hips and then we stand it up and we pause. Switching sides, stand on that left leg, seesaw your right leg back behind you. There's a little balancing moment here and you have your blocks right there ready and available. We'll upright our torso and take our right leg out in front of us. It's a straight leg just for a moment. And then bend both knees. Right ankle comes on top of left thigh. You want to curl those right toes back. You can keep your hands on your hips if you want to, or reach your hands towards your blocks or books, maybe even towards the ground for a few people. And then bring your hands to your hips, firm your belly, come all the way upright, and we step it down. Blocks go to either side so that they're not in the way of a little bit of a sun salutation for us. Arms along your sides, palms face out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, and then step back to down dog, as we've done a couple of times. Shift it forward, shoulders over wrists, and we bring our knees down and then slowly lower onto our bellies. Uncurl your toes, cobra or sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg back behind you, and then step that right foot forward, and you might want to help it along. We'll lower our back knee, which might be the moment that you bring your folded blanket into the mix. It's possible that that block that's off to your left right now is helpful. Take your right arm back behind you and see if you might find your left foot. If it's nowhere to be found, the prize is in the reach. You could also, at some point, use your kitchen towel, lasso it somehow. We're not here all that long right now, so I think the prize is in the reach. If you want more stretch, you can always lower your hand to the ground or even your forearm onto the ground, but we're not chasing anything. 3 moments just like this. Let go of that back foot. Straighten your front leg. I've got my 2 blocks located on either side of this right leg, and a half split is probably exactly where you want to be. You're welcome to slide your right heel forward and your left heel back or left knee back a little bit if you'd like to take it deeper. It's a bit of a be careful what you wish for. No need to take this too far. A couple of moments just like this. Now we'll bend our right knee, scoot our blocks off our mat so we can make our way just to down dog. And then lift your left leg behind you. Step that left foot forward. You might need to help it along, and we'll lower our back knee, possibly trot our block in. Reach back with your left hand. See if you might find your right foot back behind you. Remember, the prize is in the reach. If you want to put your right hand on the ground or your right forearm on the ground, then off you go. We'll stay here and stretch a moment or two. Carefully let go of that back foot. Arrange your blocks to frame your left leg. Straighten that left leg. And you're the expert. I'm the guide. Your left heel goes forward. Your right knee goes back to any degree. And then we soak in the stretch of our hamstrings and our hip flexor in that back leg. A few quiet moments here. On this side, we're doing things a little bit different on the way out. So bend your left knee and turn this into a pigeon pose by placing your block underneath your left sit bone and then maybe scoot that right leg back behind you. You can try to move your left knee a little bit over to the left, but like I said, this is where you're the expert. So you want your left knee to be happy. You're going to feel a stretch in that right hip flexor. This is a bit like the dancing a jig situation we were in. Some of you might be on a folded blanket or just on the ground in this position. I tend to keep my torso upright, but you could walk it out, lower it down. I feel like if I keep my torso upright, I'm kind of reminding myself not to slump so much. I'm pretty gifted at that, especially in front of my computer. So I like to try to take some opportunities to find a reminder to sit up a little taller. Now to come out of this side, lean to your left, move your right foot forward, and then slide your left knee back so it's kind of like you're doing a low lunge, and we'll just locate our other block or that same block underneath our right hip now, and we'll straighten our left leg behind us to any degree, dropping that left hip down a little bit if it will agree to do that, finding to what extent our right knee might go to the right a little bit. And then once you feel the stretch on the front of your back leg and in the jig-like stretch of your front leg, we have arrived, and we'll stay here for a moment. Our exit is similar. Lean to the right, sweep that left leg forward, scoot your blocks out of your way, and then come to a lying down position. And once we lie down, we'll take a supine twist, a little lying down twist. Scoot your hips to the right, let your knees spill over to the left. You might cross your right knee over your left knee if that feels good to you. We'll come to center and go to the other side, so hips go left and knees drop to the right. And then we'll come to the middle. Snuggle our shoulder blades down underneath us so they feel flat against the ground, like we're reminding ourselves once again of that good posture. Lift your hips an inch. Create some space, and when your hips lower back down, see if you can't let that space remain. You're welcome to stay like this or extend one leg and then the other straight. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you cover your eyes, or just soften your gaze, but it is our rest and digest. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation for as long as you would like. If you're ready, give yourself a stretch, collect your knees into your chest, roll to your side. We'll help ourselves up to a comfortable way to sit. And once you're in your comfortable seat, that could include sitting on your block or your folded blanket. Let's make a prayer in front of our hearts or place our hands on top of our heart. Just have a moment of gratitude. Grateful that we can move and breathe this way. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.